Hello. I just wanted to share with you all what I feel like God has been teaching me lately. There's going to be a link in the bottom that kind of links to an email that has all this in words. It may be a little different because I am kind of winging this part. Okay, anyways, moving on. I'm nervous, and I don't know why I'm nervous, but I guess it's just a hard but a good lesson. And so God has been teaching me for the past honestly probably 10 years that there is a pace to peace and rest. Ugh. It's a lesson that I'm still learning. It's a lesson that I struggle with, and the lesson is to slow down. The lesson is how to be present in the moment that I'm in and not thinking about the millions of things that need to get done, or not overcommitting so I have too many things to think about. And there have been seasons where I've done this better. There have been seasons where I've done this poorly. And honestly, the last 3 months of support raising, I have forgotten this lesson, and I have been frantic and busy and trying to do too much and not showing up well. Not showing up well for the people that love me, for the people around me that I'm interacting with. It's just because I've been busy. So I'm going to share a story that does not show me in a great light, but that God used anyways, as He is frequent to do. And so I had a vision trip planned for Spain, just to kind of go and meet my team and see where I'm going and just see some potential ministry plug-in opportunities. And Friday evening at 9 o'clock, I was packing, as one does. I procrastinate packing all the time. Yeah, whatever. And so I had been told by a couple of people that Europe tends to weigh carry-ons that they look heavy, and my suitcases always look heavy. And so I pulled up my email of my flight information because I was I need to see how much this actually can weigh, so if it gets weighed. Sorry, I'm cold. I don't know why. I was a little shiver. And so pull up my flight information, and it says enter in your passport information here early. And my jaw about fell to the floor. And so I promptly called my dad. I said, hey, can you walk into your guest bedroom, or into the guest bathroom, and open the second drawer where I stored a couple of my things there? And he goes, yeah. So he walks in the bathroom, opens the drawer, and I say, hey, on the left side, is my passport there? And mind you, I'm in Kentucky for Thanksgiving. My dad is in Florida, and I'm supposed to fly out of Kansas City Sunday evening, and this is Friday. And he goes, yeah. And I said some things. I thought a lot more things, and I'm freaking out, and he is calm, and he says, hey, it's gonna be okay. I'll stick it in the mail first thing tomorrow. I'll overnight it. You should be fine. What's an address for Kansas City so I can send it there, just to make sure that it makes it. So I'm like, okay, cool. Figure out an address where I can send it in Kansas City, where I'm flying out of, give it to him, and then wake up the next morning and try to be calm and not worry. Try being the main word there. I went for a prayer walk, which I've been trying to do Saturday morning just to kind of reflect on my week. And then I came back and I took a really long bath and just did some self-care and tried to calm down. When I get out, I look at my phone. I have 3 missed calls from my dad, and my heart rate's already spiking. And so I call him, and he goes, hey, I put it in the mail, but it's not going to make it until Monday afternoon. And I get really quiet. I'm freaking out. And I'm trying not to lose it on him, because it's not his fault that I left my passport in Florida, but I am angry and flustered and anxious, honestly. And so I get kind of quiet on the phone because I don't want to take that on him, because it's not his fault. And he said, okay, I'm going to go. And I said, okay. He hung up, and I collapsed into the floor in a puddle of emotions and heart and tears and frustration. And I do the only thing I know to do in that moment, and I pray, and I'm like, God, I don't know what to do. I'm freaking out. I'm stressing out. This is going to be so much money to change my flight. This is dumb. I need to get there, and it's not going to work. And I'm really excited for this trip, and I don't want it to be delayed. And I say all that a lot more frantically than that. And calm myself down, talk to her out a little bit more, get up, eat some breakfast, because it's like 11 o'clock and I haven't eaten breakfast yet, you know. And then try to rebook my flight, but my grandparents don't have Wi-Fi, so I tried a hotspot and it just wasn't working for my phone, and so I had to go to the library, and mind you, my heart rate is still nuts because I'm stressing out. And so I go to the library, ended up being able to rebook my flight, and it was $41 cheaper. Same flight, but on Monday evening instead of Sunday evening, which is great. And so I ended up getting to stay an extra day in Kentucky, which was not planned. I got to go to church on Sunday morning. I actually got to go to 2 churches. I went to a little church that I went to growing up when I lived in Kentucky, which is so sweet. Got to connect with a lot of people who honestly know me because they knew me when I was little that I don't fully remember, and it was just really sweet. And then I got to go to my grandmother's church, Calvert City United Methodist, and they have just gone through a really hard church split. Most of their church has decided to leave, some of their church has decided to stay, and it's just hard on both sides. But the message was exactly what I needed to hear. I cried 3 times during this service, and it was just about resting in God's presence. That when you are in God's presence, the worries of the world kind of just fade away. And it was really special. And so afterwards, I actually got to connect with a woman. We talked for like 2 hours. It was so special. Not just being said, like, I think the timing of me being there was really good. And then I actually ended up getting to talk to the pastor's wife. And I was going to ask about support for missions, that God had different plans. And so I just got to encourage her and pray over her. And it was just a really sweet time. A time that had I been on a flight Sunday evening, I would not have been able to have. Sorry, I just realized that this tree above me looks like it's growing out of my head. You're welcome. There's my ADHD and distractions. I hope y'all love these videos. They're wild. I like them. I hope you like them. Back on track. And so wake up super early Monday morning to drive to Kansas City. And when I check like the shipping update on my passport, it hasn't updated since Saturday evening, from a distribution center in Jacksonville, Florida. And so I'm trying not to freak out. I'm not doing good at trying not to freak out. Yeah, typical. And so I'm driving and oscillating, honestly, from trusting God, and he's telling me it's okay, that he has a plan, between worrying and freaking out that I'm not going to be able to go on this flight because I still don't have my passport and I don't know if it's going to make it in time. And so my passport was guaranteed delivery by 5 p.m., but my flight was supposed to leave at 6:10, and so that was already pushing it. And then I realized that it was actually guaranteed delivery by 6 p.m. Hi, honey. You're welcome. Little dog moment there. And so I was really freaking out. And anytime I would pray, I feel like God was just like, it's okay, trust me, I've got it, I have a plan. And I would listen, I'd be like, okay, cool, great. And I'd calm down, and then I would freak out again. And so just this mess of emotions and of things. And so I get there to Kansas City, I get in at like 4, no passport, check the mailbox where it's supposed to go to, ask people who are going to be there, and no passport. Wait for 2 hours, finally 6 o'clock rolls around and there's still no passport. And so at 6:15, at like 5 o'clock my flight gets delayed to 7. I'm like, perfect, my passport has time to show up, great. But also made my connection super tight in Minneapolis. And so I am waiting, and at 6:15 I realize it's not coming. We go down and check Avant's mailbox to make sure it didn't put in the wrong one. It's not there. I call my mom, crying. And she's in California, and so she actually called the United States Postal Service and spent an hour and a half on the phone with them because I didn't have the mental capacity to do that. And I got to stay at Avant at their housing for the night and just kind of rest, slow down a little bit. I took a very long nap because I was so stressed out. I had a couple people that were the person with passports being sent, and then a couple of the people that were praying, and so rest over me. My mom found out which distribution center in Kansas City my passport would be at if it made it to Kansas City. So I made a plan. Tried to rebook my flight. Sorry, I was missing a crucial detail there. Tried to rebook my flight when I realized my passport was going to make it. There was one that was for the next morning at like 11:05. And I was like, I really need to get to Spain. My time window of when I can be there is really shrinking, because I had a commitment the next week, and so I couldn't really extend my trip. And so I'm trying, and it's not going through. I called Delta, and it's still not going through. My flight ended up getting delayed again, and my flight was automatically rebooked for the one that I was trying to book for the next morning. Because I wasn't going to make my connection. And so it just did it on its own. Didn't cost me anything. Got the flight for the next day. Really cool God timing that was out of my control, but was very much so a blessing. And so I wake up the next morning, go to the post office, which is supposed to open at 8. And so my flight leaves at 11:05, or it's supposed to open at 8:30, and like 8:40, 8:50, it's still not open. There's cars and trucks going in and out of the back, but the front office isn't open. I go around and talk to someone on the side, and they're like, yeah, we'll open up soon. They didn't open until 45 minutes after they were supposed to. I'm standing outside pacing in the cold. I really wanted to be gracious to the postal people when I went inside, but I was very angry at this point, and not doing a good job of being peaceful and collected and calm. And I give them my address, give them where it's supposed to be shipped, and the package information, and he turns to the guy next to me. He's like, how can I help you? And isn't doing anything where he was going to try to help both. And the guy next to me, I'd give him a look at it. He's like, no, just help her. Which I was grateful for. And so he goes in the back, and he comes out, and lo and behold, he has my passport. And it is almost 10 o'clock at this point. And I am stressing out. Grab my passport, go back to Avant. They drop me off at the airport, make it to security. I make my international flight like 45 minutes before I'm supposed to be on it. They were just about to start boarding. I made it on the flight.